Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars, and today we are going to do a Padron Throwdown. The Series 1926 Padron against the Series 1964. I often get asked which one is better, the 64 or the 26, and so we're going to do a deep dive and compare the two, and kind of let you decide which is better. I can tell you the sure winner in this whole thing is going to be me, because I get to smoke two Padrones over the next day or so. So let's look first at the specs. These are both Nicaraguan Puros, and the tobacco is for both of these is grown right on the Padron farms and aged a great deal. The 1964 is actually aged a little bit less than the 1926, about 4 years or so, and the 26 is 5 to 10 years of aging. They're both box pressed. Of course, they have the Padron construction, and both good looking cigars. I also want to compare ratings. If you look at cigar catalogs and so forth, they're all rated 5 out of 5 stars. So what I did is I went to Cigar Aficionado, and I actually went to their archives and went back 10 ratings for each one. It was like 4 years. And what it came out to be is the 64 rated 92.7 and the 26 was 93.1, so 0.4 of a point higher for the 1926. And those are both excellent ratings. So that's pretty much a draw. In terms of cost, there is a difference. The 1964 is actually about 15% less, give or take, depending on the size, a little more and a little less in some sizes. But which is $3 or $4 a stick when you buy it retail for one stick. But when you get up to buying a box, then it really adds up. It can be $100 a box. So we got to give it a little bit of an edge to the 1964 there. Okay, we're starting with the 1964 Anniversary Series. And as you can see, it's a little bit rougher on the edges on the construction. There's some stems showing, and it's pretty bumpy. That's very typical of Padrones. They can have kind of a little bit of a rustic look to them. So that certainly isn't something we're going to mark it down for. Construction, the draw has been really good, and I'm not very far in, obviously, and the burn has been dead even. It actually started out a little bit iffy, and then it evened itself out, which is a good sign of a good cigar. Obviously no relights up to this point yet. Boldness, they promote this as a medium full, and I would say it meets that expectation. It's about 7.5 to maybe 8 in terms of boldness, so it isn't quite a powerhouse. And we'll compare that to the 26 when I get to that one. But it certainly has a lot of flavor and a lot of nuances, which is what you expect from a cigar like this. Overall enjoyment, I got to say, I've smoked a few 64s and 26s. And let's talk about the 64. I enjoy smoking these a lot. And if you've seen some of my other reviews for some high-priced cigars, I'm not afraid to say a cigar isn't very good, but I've enjoyed smoking every single one of these Padron 1964 Anniversary Series that I've smoked over the months and years. So it's a good cigar. We'll find out how good, because we're going to compare to the 1926 next. Well, another day, another Padron. Today's the 1926. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to smoke these Padrones. It's going to be tough, I got to say, to beat the 1964 that I smoked yesterday. It really finished strong. It was better at the end even than it was in the beginning and the middle, it was pretty good at that time. So let's take a look at comparing this to the 1964 series. I'll get her lit up, but before I do that, a little fun fact about the 1926 I came across in my research is, according to Padron, they only have one roller and one buncher working on 1926 series cigars. So that's a lot of work for two people, and they put out, I think, something well in the 6-figure cigars a year, but which isn't really enough to meet the demand, which means sometimes these are hard to get. Okay, I'm going to get her lit up and I'll be right back. Oh wow, I'm liking this smoke. I didn't talk about the look before. This is rolled a little bit cleaner than the 1964 that we looked at yesterday, less rustic looking, tomato, I guess. Construction, the box press on this gives it really good draw, really good burn. It's held up very nicely. No relights at all necessary. But where it really separates from the 1926 is boldness. We said that's about a 7.5, maybe an 8 in terms of boldness. This is one of the strongest cigars. I've smoked stronger cigars, but I'm not very many. I'd have to give this a 10. And honestly, the boldness for me a little bit overshadows the flavor, which the flavor and the taste is excellent. It's a little less sweet than the 1964, a little more bitter. I don't think bitter is the right word, but not absence of sweetness, I guess, is the best way to look at it. Overall, here's my assessment. They're both obviously fantastic cigars, but in my opinion, if you're a new smoker or you don't really care for really full-bodied smokes, I'd probably pick the 1964 instead of the 1926. But honestly, that's a big differentiating factor. We talked about price being a little one too, but man, they're both good cigars, and if you can get your hands on either one, I think you'll have a good time smoking it. That's it. See you next time.